Girly. Like, that's really against girl code. Anywho, all right, let's do the one about birth control. Okay, so this next story is brought to you by Evie Magazine, and I think you guys might have heard about this. It was, people were talking about it for a while, and I think we should talk about it. Okay, so the FDA approves the first birth control pill available without a prescription. For the first time ever, an over-the-counter birth control has been approved by the FDA. This development is being marketed as a huge step forward for women, but there are many factors that need to be considered. In a groundbreaking development, the FDA approved a daily oral contraceptive pill known as Opill for over-the-counter sale last Thursday, or a couple Thursdays ago. The approval allows Opill, which comes in a tablet form, to be sold over the counter on a variety of platforms ranging from online markets to drugstores, convenience stores, and grocery stores. Patrizia Cavazzoni, the director of the FDA's Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, remarked, quote, "Today's approval marks the first time a non-prescription daily oral contraceptive will be available option for millions of people in the United States."
People.
Wow, we literally have yeah, people.
And is the FDA biased? Because they just said people.
People. She added that when used as directed, daily oral contraceptives such as Opill is, quote, this is what she's saying, is safe and is expected to be more effective than currently available non-prescription contraceptive methods in preventing unintended pregnancy, end quote. The approval of over-the-counter daily oral contraceptives is being painted as a significant step forward in empowering individuals to take control over their reproductive health. But very few conventional medical experts are willing to also educate their patients on the negative side effects that come from the pill. Lauren, a family nurse practitioner who goes by @NaturalNurseMama on Instagram, is one of the many who have discussed the pill's potential to cause chronic health issues. Lauren explains that while birth control is often a sensitive topic, it's essential to understand its effects. Quote, "Birth control shuts off communication between the brain and the ovaries, and that has a ripple effect throughout the entire body." Lauren claims that the pill, classified as a Group 1 carcinogen, can lead to chronic gut issues and nutrient depletion. She explains that synthetic hormones in the pill have been associated with increased risk of heart attack and blood clotting since the 1960s. Further potential adverse effects include, everybody listen to this, liver tumors, increased risk of Crohn's disease, likelihood of being prescribed antidepressants, and depletion of vital nutrients necessary for mood stabilization, pregnancy, and regular menstrual cycles. Clinically, Lauren has noticed consistent patterns in women on the pill. Listen to this. Such as a deep-rooted fungal infection like Candida. These can lead to chronic health issues including headaches, fatigue, gut issues, weight gain, low libido, anxiety, and depression. Post-pill conditions such as PCOS, liver congestion, and infertility are common, yet often overlooked by conventional medicine. Before we start handing out the pill to women over the counter, we need to ensure there is a proper education about what the potential side effects and dangers are, or else there will be many more health issues around the country that can cause more harm than good. This wasn't even the entire article, but I just thought those parts were very, very important to read.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I think this is a multi-level kind of conversation. There's obviously the societal effects. There's the history of the pill. There's the individual effects, the individual physical effects, the individual spiritual effects, and the individual emotional effects, psychological effects as well. So this is a really complex conversation, and I want to kind of take it everywhere. But let's first start off with, I can understand the desire to control your body. I can understand the desire to prevent pregnancy, to not have children right now. I can understand why, especially if you believe in conventional reproductive health, why a post-Roe world might mean more access to birth control. There are plenty of pro-lifers even who believe that a post-Roe world means more access to birth control. And I think a lot of pro-lifers would say that birth control prevents abortion. But I know that there are people that get annoyed when we kind of put birth control in the abortion camp of discussion, but they're really related, because think about the mentality that birth control contributes to. Think about the narrative. The narrative is that consequence-free sex exists and you're entitled to it. And if you believe that, then you're probably not going to have much of a problem with abortion. So there is a narrative that this is pushing, and it really requires like strong convictions to be resistant to the narrative, because you can turn on, the Daily or the New York Times, and normally, like, of course they're like slightly left leaning, but like you hear reproductive health and you think, sure, of course, so you have to be hyper aware of the narrative that's being pushed. I also think that I was going to say something else. I forget what I was going to say, but I could go so many different directions. I could talk about the history of birth control, and like the NAACP originally did not approve of it because of its eugenics history. This is not false information either, you guys. Like, plenty of Black Americans when it first came out did not approve of it. Plenty of feminists even approved of it because they said this was a tool of the patriarchy. This is going to be used to push us further into the workforce, but in a oppressive way. Geez. It's disappointing to me that there are conversations about not needing any kind of age limit on this. Like, I had to scan my ID to get NyQuil yesterday, but I imagine in progressive states, you're not going to need any kind of ID or anything like that. I know somebody who was given like the pill, and she had like really, really intense heart palpitations and was not given any idea that this could cause it. I mean, it's really, really dangerous, I think, to have these things so accessible. I think it has all kinds of implications for the individual and for society. So what do you think? What were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head numerous times throughout your thoughts, and I kind of want to piggyback a little bit off of what you said toward the beginning. I don't remember if Sav and I talked about it during the podcast or when we had our own personal conversation, but I used to, actually I think it was on the podcast because she said this as well. So we both were talking about how we used to be like, the only issue is abortion. There's nothing more to it. It's just don't have abortions. And the more you learn about abortions, the more you learn about like how do we get there, and you want to truly start to look at roots, you kind of realize it's a full spectrum. It's not really just don't have abortion. So I think that people, and like you said, many pro-lifers, I've been in, group chats with other pro-lifers and mentioned something about birth control, and they're like, how can you be against birth control? And, many people think this, and it takes time to like really think out the full process of everything to come to the conclusion that we have. But it truly is like, and I know, and like you said, people don't like it to lump together, but it does go together, because the only reason why you will have an abortion is if you are pregnant. The only way you get pregnant is through sex.
Yeah.
And if you are, and we're not talking about the 0.1%, we're talking about the majority, 99.9%. If you are living a lifestyle where, like you said, you use the term, what was it, like free sex, not free sex,
consequence-free sex,
whether you have the pill or not, it's, you're not going to have the mindset to what am I trying to say? The more sex you have increases the possibility for you to get pregnant, which increases the possibility that you would consider an abortion. When you are having consequence-free sex, you're not thinking, like, it just becomes part of hookup culture. Is it just becomes something that you're doing? It's not really something that you think about. And I do think, as a Christian, and I'm only speaking as a Christian, I was accused of slut shaming the other day. I'm not trying to slut shame anyone. I'm talking as a Christian. Sex should be important. It shouldn't be just something that you willy-nilly do, that it's just like this thing that we sometimes do, and here we go, we're throwing in consequence free. And I think once we stopped like putting sex on a pedestal, once we stopped saying that like it's this great and it's important, we start looking for ways to do it however, whenever, with whoever. Once we start looking at however, whenever, with whoever, we wanted to make sure we could do it however, whenever, with whoever without having any consequences. Once we found out we can have it without consequences, then we got a consequence.
We can hurt others. We can hurt others in the process.
Exactly. And that's how we got to here. So I think that, this easy accessibility to birth control is not going to help the way they think it is. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe there are some statistics that show that an increase of birth control does not necessarily equal a decrease in abortions.
Exactly. Okay. 50% of women that have an abortion were using some kind of contraception. And I just want to say that how many 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls can you think of that would be able to take the same pill every day, the same time of day? Listen, okay, this is a conspiracy theory of mine, but I think it's got some stick.
Let's hear it.
This is a push of the abortion industry to increase profits because they know you are going to fail at taking this pill. You are going to fail. And when you fail, you're going to come to us. And I think it's just setting girls up for failure. I think it's just, and if you're pro-life, like, remember that a side effect of this kind of thing, it prevents the uterine lining from thickening, which creates a hostile environment to a conceived human being. Meaning, if you conceive while on the pill, a fail-safe of the pill is not letting your baby latch on your uterine wall, therefore killing him or her. So it has abortifacient side effects that people are not talking about, people are not aware of. Good Christian, even good Catholics, like, are not aware of these things.
People truly are not aware of it. I used to think, oh yeah, birth control is whatever. I did not know that until I did my own research. People are not aware of it, and people aren't talking about it because it's uncomfortable. It is so uncomfortable.
And they can't find studies about it because like, I've even tried looking it up like many times in different ways, and like, there are no studies about this. I mean, I can find a few because it exists. I mean, it is listed as a side effect if you look at these pills, but it's not like anybody's talking about it. It's definitely not like Western medicine is going to give you any kind of indication that you could be having an abortion and not know it. Because if so, many women would say no.
Yeah. And, so we talked about that aspect. It really isn't going to stop abortions. And I think another thing, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on the podcast, and we'll keep talking about it, it's also not good for your health.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I just cannot stop thinking about, I listened to this podcast by Lisa Vitti. She has an amazing book. Everybody, we should maybe read it one day as a class. But she said there were all these studies done to make sure Viagra helped men. I mean, they did, the moment any type of side effect, we got to fix it. They barely did anything for the birth control. And that is just, I mean, talk about patriarchy. That just, I can't stop thinking about that. It hurts your, sorry. Go ahead and cut that one out.
4640, got it.
It hurts your body. it goes against what you're on the very, so we have episodes about it, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep talking about it, and I'll link some other episodes, but on the very micro, like surface level, it goes against what your body is designed to do.
If it's not broken, don't fix it, y'all.
Exactly. And it hurts you. It truly hurts you. There are other ways. I'll link some podcasts that we've had. There are other ways if you are trying to, if within marriage and everything, you're trying not to conceive, and even if you are, never mind. I'm not even gonna endorse that. If you,
we're not endorsing it, but like it doesn't mean your body doesn't care if you're married or not.
That's true too. That's true. So we'll link all that stuff, but it on the very basic level, you're going against what your body is literally designed to do. We as women are so amazing. I heard someone say like, we bring people into the universe. Like people do not exist until they're in us. And then they leave wherever they are, their souls, wherever their souls are, comes through us. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Why do we want to? Yes. Why do we want to mess that up? Why do we want to like get in the way of that? That's just another spiritual thing aspect of it. Anything else you want to add, Freeman?
No, I think we've talked about this at length in other podcasts. So if you want to go back, I've given all kinds of spiels. Mallory has given all kinds of spiels. We could continue on this forever. So if you want to learn more, go look back at some of previous episodes because we talk at length about this issue.